In this video, I'm giving you 7 tips that you can follow to get your personal best in trophies in Clash Royale. What's going on, guys? It's your boy Mars back with another Clash Royale video. And today I'm giving you 7 tips for ladder pushing in Clash Royale. I guarantee you guys, if you follow these 7 ladder pushing tips in Clash Royale, you'll be able to beat your personal best in trophies. Alright guys, so tip number 1 is to focus on playing one deck or at least one type of deck. In my case, I've been playing Logbait for over 3 years at this point, and as someone who's mostly free to play, I've finally been able to max out at least a few different Logbait decks. It definitely helps to have a few different decks of the same type that are all maxed out, because then you can switch up your deck if you're getting bored of one, but you still have like the same play style pretty much. And like for me, I'm used to playing Logbait all the time, so that's definitely what I'm best at on ladder, and this is definitely going to help you max your cards faster and therefore get more trophies. Alright, so tip number 2, now assuming that you have a few different maxed out decks or at least one, tip number 2 is to focus really hard on your win rate. The way ladder is set up in Clash Royale, in theory, you face someone who's around your same skill level every game, and that's why most people on ladder will pretty much end up with a win rate right at 50%. And this is where most people don't really think of Clash Royale like this, but you want to think of it like a season of like something like the NBA where they play 82 games. In Clash Royale, the seasons are right around 30 days long. So let's say on average you play 5 games on ladder every day, then you would play 150 games in a season. And if your win rate is 50%, that means you would end up with a record of 75 and 75. But guys, let's just say for even just 2 of those games, you focused a little bit harder and made less mistakes, and you're able to win 2 of the games that you ended up losing. This would mean that your win rate only went up by a little over 1%, but now your record would end up being 77 and 73. And with those 2 wins instead of losses, you would end the season about 120 trophies higher than you usually would. This second tip is mainly just to show you the importance of every single game on ladder. No matter what you do, you're probably not going to be able to make your win rate be that far above 50%, but you definitely want to try to make it be at least a little above 50% and avoid tilting in any way you can. Alright guys, so tip number 3 kind of ties back into not tilting. Tip number 3 is probably the hardest one for all of us to follow. I definitely don't follow this one all the time, and I really wish I did, but it's that if you have a really close loss or a bad matchup, or you get unlucky or something happens in a loss that really makes you mad, stop playing. Guys, I know this tip is so difficult to follow. Let's say you play really good Clash Royale for 3 to 4 minutes and your opponent is like BMing you or something, and then they get like some really lucky interaction at the very end that makes them win. Maybe they win on tiebreaker by like 1 HP or something crazy like that, and then you get really mad and you just want to hop right back into another battle and just like show them who's boss or something. You have to avoid doing this because this is just how we tilt. And going back to the win rate thing that I talked about in the last tip, let's say you were going 75 and 75. Maybe you had 1 or 2 bad tilts where you lost like 5 or 6 games in a row. And if you would have just closed out of the app before those tilts, you definitely could have saved a lot of losses and maybe ended up the season like 100 or 200 trophies above where you did. Alright guys, so tip number 4 is about how long the ladder sessions should be, and in my opinion, you should play between 3 and 7 games each time you push on ladder. Sometimes I'll only play 3 games because if I win like 3 games in a row on ladder, that's an easy 90 trophies right there, and then I usually just close out of the app and take my profits where they are. Let's say you play 4 games and you go 2 and 2. Because of trophy inflation, you might even gain a few trophies from that, and I've definitely had videos posted on the channel here where I do a ladder push, but I end up going 2 and 2, and I just call it right there because I gained like 5 trophies, and I just said, you know what, that's good enough for today. You're not always going to gain trophies when you play on ladder, but I love to keep it to a limit of at least like 7 games or less, because this really helps to avoid tilting, and even in the worst case scenario where I'll hop on the game and like lose 3 in a row, even if you just win like 1 or 2 games back after that, sometimes that's going to be enough, and you just want to keep your ladder pushes short. And I found that this is the best way to keep your win rate above 50% if you can. Alright guys, so tips 5, 6, and 7 are going to be a little bit more outside the game and just smaller tips to like keep your focus. So tip number 5 is that before you play a ladder session, even even if it's only going to be like 3 or 4 games. Make sure you've had some water recently and you're not going to be like super hungry. Maybe have a snack before you play a few games, because Clash Royale actually takes a lot of mental energy and you need to have more mental energy and focus than your opponent to win. So make sure you're not like really tired if you like just went and like played football with your friends or something. It might not be the best time to push on ladder. These little outside factors can distract you from the game, and you just want to make sure you have a full stomach, you have some water, and you're just ready to play. All right, tip number 6 ties into the focus aspect again, and this is that if you're gonna play on ladder to gain trophies, turn off your notifications. I can't tell you how many times I've been in a really close game on ladder and a few texts will start coming up from a group chat. Even random notifications like the weather channel or something like that will just come up, and it causes me to like not be able to see the very top of the screen. I miss something that they play for like a second or two, and even that can be enough to make the difference in a game. If somebody has something that vital and urgent to tell you, they're probably just gonna call you anyway, and it'll come up on the screen, and you can probably afford to lose one game to answer a phone call. But yeah, guys, every time I'm making a video, I turn off my notifications for the time that I'm recording my phone screen, or at least most of the time. I know I've forgotten it occasionally, but yeah, guys, turn off your phone notifications for just like 20 minutes and then focus on gaining trophies. All right, guys, the 7th and final tip, and you would be surprised how many people don't do this, but you should be playing with the game sound on. Now, obviously, if you're in a place where you need to be quiet or something, then don't play with the game sound out loud and disrupt other people. But the game sound gives you a big advantage over someone who doesn't have the game sound on. The first thing I always think about is the miner. Now, you can see the miner's trail coming out of the enemy king tower, but sometimes you might just be looking down at your side of the arena and they'll like send in a miner and you can hear the miner start going right away. Whereas if you didn't have the game sound on, it's going to be a lot harder to catch people's miners, and they can get a lot of free damage just because you didn't hear it right away. Also, the game sound is something that you can focus on to drown out other little noises. If like somebody's shouting in the street outside or something random like that, if you're listening to the game sound instead, maybe you just won't even hear that. Or if you do happen to look away from your phone screen for a second and then they place something and the little sound occurs, it can cause you to focus back on the game. I just personally love playing with the game sound, and I find that I always do slightly better when I have the game sound on. So if you're trying to gain trophies, you should definitely have it on. So guys, if those 7 tips help you out with gaining trophies in Clash Royale, definitely hit the like button and the subscribe button right now. Doing those little things takes like 1 or 2 seconds, but it benefits my channel tremendously, and I really appreciate it. If you guys made it this far in the video, thank you so much for watching today's video. I guarantee you guys that if you actually follow these 7 tips for Clash Royale ladder pushing, you're gonna be so much better off. You're gonna win slightly more games on ladder, which will actually end up getting you a lot more trophies. Again, guys, I talked about the difference between a 50% win rate and a 51% win rate. Literally, even if you only win 1 more game out of every 100 games that you play, you could end up the season between 60 and 100 trophies higher than you usually are, and sometimes that can make the difference between getting your personal best and falling a little bit short. I made this video because I feel like there's a lot of people out there who want to get their personal best and haven't gotten it in a while. I've had a personal best of 6201 for probably 5 or 6 months at this point. The game was getting a little bit stale, I was getting a little bit frustrated, but this season I've finally been drilling down and focusing on these 7 ladder pushing tips. But anyways, guys, thank you so much once again for watching, and I'll see you guys later today with another Clash Royale live stream, and in a couple days with another Clash Royale video.